morning, everybody. Well, almost afternoon. Some of you, my students would have gotten a message this morning on Facebook saying, I'm streaming later, I want to sleep in today. So thank you. Thank you. I slept very well and I just didn't want to get out of bed. So I decided to sleep a bit longer. And now I feel happy and awake and we can finish these tennis shoes. If you guys can just let me know that the audio and that's good. I sort of rearranged things in the studio a little bit. So hopefully the microphone is positioned in a way that it's all good. And let me know if the music is too overpowering. Hey, Maureen, Diane, Luella, Brenda, Princess Lennon. Hello, welcome. Okay, so for anybody who wants to know what, I might just put that a smidge softer. For anybody that wants to know what I'm doing, all the information is in the description. So this is just part 2 of the live demonstration on the March Color Pencil Magazine Challenge, which is the tennis shoes. And I am using the Albraid. I use the Faber-Castell Albraid Dura watercolor pencils as an underpainting, and then I sealed that in with a fixative, and then I started using the Faber-Castell Polychromos pencils and the Prismacolor pencils for more of the detailing work over the top. So that's what we're doing now. We're going to continue on until the shoes look much better. So we did this one. We haven't done the stitching or anything like that yet because we want to do that sort of thing last. I do have a reference nice and close so that I've got something to look at all the time. I think I want to soften the background up a little bit, and I might use some of my wax-based pencils to do that, but that's also something that we're going to do last. So what I'm going to do is, what I did with this shoe over here, I'm just going to continue on and do that over here, and then gradually just add more detail, add more detail, add more detail until it is the way I want it to be. So hey Tracy, welcome guys. Okay, so I'm just going to jump straight into it. Now I didn't leave the pencils out that I used before, so I gotta hunt them down again. I think I used the warm grays, didn't I? Okay. So yes, I remember we used a lot of the warm grays. Let me just get them out again. So we've got warm grey 2 and 3 and 4. Oh, here we go. The warm greys are so warm they look brown. Okay, so I literally have warm grey 1 to 5 right here. And we'll probably use some of the Payne's grey as well. So I'm going to keep them close by. Hey Margine, hey Heather, hey Sin, hey Eric, hi guys. Okay. So you might see my hands coming from the side, so I'm working at a complete angle. Yes. I'm working from this way. Just all of that, I'm working at this angle just so that I can have my cameras on my right coming from the top, instead of one from my left and one from the front, and then it's just all over the place. So I am working at a so this is my arm straight in front of me. It's gonna look weird. Excuse me. And so I'm working at that angle just so that I can have my cameras positioned in the right place. But in saying that, it's good to work at a different angle from time to time, because then you start noticing you start observing things properly. You're looking at it at a reference at a different angle, so you're noticing things in different directions, and you're noticing different shapes, and you're more inclined to actually draw it better if you do it upside down or at an angle, because you're observing the right things. You're not trying to draw what your brain thinks is the right thing when it's not quite. Does that make sense? Hey Valerie, I miss you. I haven't seen you on here for a long time. You must be busy. Cool. So let's start working these colors up. So I'm going to use warm gray 5. That's what the V is on its own, I think. 5. We went through this last week. So number 274. Oh cool, that looks like my arm is coming from the bottom. The things you learn when you start recording things live. Camera positions, lighting, the background, all those sorts of things. Things you just don't really think about until you get into it. So I literally have my reference right here. So my eye doesn't have to travel far to try and observe things. I'm just going to sharpen it. Julie says, I missed part 1, so I need to go back to that later. Yeah, that's fine. So part 1, the link is in the description. I'll probably have it as a little card over the top of the video once this video is done as well, so you guys can easily get to both. So someone asked me about the stitching in the comments. I think I only like briefly went through the comments this morning. So one thing I'd like to tell you guys, and I sort of feel bad for this, but I don't look at my YouTube comments that often, only every once in a while. So if you really want me to answer a comment soon, you're better off just on my Facebook page inboxing me a question, or commenting it on my Facebook page, because then I'll get to it, because I look at that every day, whereas my YouTube comments not so much. I don't know why. I don't know why. I just don't keep an eye on those comments as much as I do comments directly from my students in the portal or the Facebook comments. So I'm sorry if I haven't gotten back to you. It's just because I haven't really looked at it. But someone, in saying that, someone asked in the comments if it would be okay to do the stitching using the titanium white by brush and pencil, so this one. So what I'm going to do by the time I get to the stitching part is I'm going to try 3 things. I'm going to see how far we get just by using a white wax-based pencil. I'm going to try a small section using the Uniposco white paint marker, and then I'm going to try a section using the Color Pencil Titanium White Powder mixed with water, and then we will experiment and see which one we like the best. I want to stick in these real dark values between the laces. So I'm going to come in with the Payne's Grey, number 181. I'm a bit shaky. I need to drink some water. I had a very strong coffee smoothie this morning, so just banana ice and like a double shot of coffee, and I think I had it too fast, and now I feel a bit jittery because I don't have coffee every day anymore. And it's not very fun watching someone try and draw while they're shaking because you're like, oh. Okay, so the Payne Grey is really going to help me point out where those shadows are, and it's going to make the flaps on the shoes and the bends or folds in the shoe look more three-dimensional. I really love what the watercolor pencil has done, because it's like it's filled in all the color of the paper. So there's no color of the paper that's going to come through anymore because it's got some sort of color on it from the watercolor layers that we put down, watercolor pencil layers. So that's nice. At least we're not sort of trying to fight with how many layers to put in to seal in the color of the paper, so that none of the color of the paper is coming through. This is hot press paper. Did I not put that in the description? No, I didn't. So yeah, it's hot press. This is what the pad looks like. So it's the Faber-Castell. So 200 GSM. Oh my gosh, my camera is positioned at an angle, so I have to move my hand right. Faber-Castell, hot pressed, 100% cotton watercolor paper, free of animal components. Bonus. Okay, so that's the paper. So I always use hot press. The cold press paper seems to have a lot more texture, which makes it harder to I forgot to press record. Which makes it harder to fill the texture of the paper, so it takes a lot more layers if you're using cold press paper, so you're better off using hot press paper. But that being said, tomorrow I'm doing a tutorial for my students where I'm going to use minimum supplies. So we're going to use this paper, and I'm going to use my polychromos pencils, I'm going to use an etching tool, and I'm going to use my zested solvent, and that's it. So I'm going to go back to how I used to teach, just with regular watercolor paper, this one, and one set of pencils instead of too many supplies. And I have the print here already actually. So the reference photo is from Pixabay, which is this one. So we're going to be drawing this fox tomorrow, and it will probably be 2 or 3 classes. And I'm going to show you how to get these textures of hair using an etching tool. And I'm going to show you how to get all the foundation layers done first by using a blurry reference, so that you can get the underpainting done without confusing your mind about any details. We're going to use a blurry reference, get the underpainting done, and then start adding the details over the top. So, and those little white hairs with the etching tool, and I'm also going to show you how to properly use a white wax-based pencil to create those textures. So that's going to be what's coming up tomorrow. So if you want to be a part of those classes, then you can sign up on my website or through Patreon, and then you'll be able to watch it. and then yeah, give it a go. And if you don't like the portal or the way the classes are set up, which is pretty much like this, except you just hang out with the students, it's not live, then you can cancel. But it's only you can get access to those videos if you just sub for $5 a month. So it's like cheaper than a magazine subscription. It's not expensive, but it's up to you. But I do have a lot of free tutorials like this on my YouTube channel, so if that's enough for you, then just stick to that. Don't worry about subscribing. But yeah, most of you on here are already students of mine, so that's what's coming up tomorrow. And that was the one that Robert wanted us to do. Because he tried it and he was having a lot of trouble with getting that soft, real soft fur look, so that's going to be our main focus tomorrow. So that furry look, with the same concept will apply for the bunny rabbit that a few of you have been trying, and also any soft, real soft fur. That's like, yeah, so same idea. I was going to actually do that class today, but I said before that I'm not going to move on to the next drawing until I've finished a drawing completely. So I was like, let me finish this one and then we can move on to that one tomorrow. Pay attention to this one. Okay, Valerie's asking, have you turned your burner on lately? No, not since we did our live stream. How bad's that? What? Rooksy had 5 cups of coffee today. You crazy? You must be like the freaking little squirrel dude in Over the Hedge. Lady Marigold saying, did my first pastel piece. Do you recommend spraying it with fixative, and if so, which one? Well, a lot of people are afraid of using fixative with pastels because when you spray a pastel piece with a fixative, it tends to make the lighter colors sort of disappear, so your highlights just, it dulls it down completely, so it's not as bright. But I do it the way I would do it, the same way I would do with the pan pastels, is I will spray it between layers. I'll spray a fixative. I like using the Micador matte workable fixative, and then I just continue to build up the layers, and the more you layer, the more that pigment in the pastels will stay stronger. But that's my personal opinion. There are quite a few artists out there that try not to use fixative at all with their pastel pieces. So I think it's something you're going to maybe have to play around to make that decision for yourself. Diane saying, I'm looking really forward to the Fox class. I know, you guys have been waiting for it since the beginning of February. I know in February is when we decided that we'll do it in March, so that's at least coming up now. Diane's asking, is it more difficult to work smaller like this, or doesn't it matter? It is more difficult to work smaller. The bigger you work, the easier it is for you to draw small details, because you're not drawing those small details small, you're drawing them bigger, so it's easier. The smaller you draw, the harder it is to draw really fine details. So, but the bigger you draw, the more time it's going to take, and the only reason I do these ones real small is so that I can get them done within a stream or two. But the bigger, the better. The bigger you draw, the easier. Okay, so that's questions done. Carry on. Okay, I just want to sort of layer all over the material of that shoe with warm grey number 271, just all over. Just to give it even more of a warmer touch. Okay, and then what I used, I'm pretty sure I used a cold grey for the shoelaces. Did I? And ivory. Sorry, I'm just testing something real quick. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to use cold grey 1, number 230 for the laces. So if you look at the reference, it does look like it's a cooler tone, not as warm, not a warmer tone, so that's why I'm using the cold grey, not a warm grey. Julie's saying, I prefer working small right now because big is overwhelming. Totally new to pencils. Yep, you do whatever feels right for you. So, although I may be teaching certain techniques and have certain opinions, they're all my opinions. So I'm quite happy for a lot of you guys to disagree with me. Feel free to disagree with me because we all have our own way of doing things. So you can take the information that I give you, you can take what works for you and leave what doesn't work for you. So it's good. At least you're trying. That's what I appreciate the most, is you guys are trying something new, and then you guys sort of work from there and make up your own mind about things. And I also encourage you to subscribe to some other artists. Get different perspectives on the same things. Lisa's amazing. Jason Morgan is amazing. Who else? Amy Howard's pretty good. I'm doing a live collaboration with her soon, 28th of March, I think. We postponed the date. There's so many out there. Kirsty Partridge, she's really good. She's gotten quite popular on Patreon. Yeah, have a look at all these different artists and see which ones appeal to you, and use the information, bits of information from everybody. That's how I learned on YouTube. I found various artists that I enjoyed, and I took different parts that worked for me and eventually just formed my own thing. Oh, Barbara, you did not have to do that. Thank you so much. You really didn't have to do that. I appreciate that. So what Bob just did on the super chat, those sorts of things help me with giveaways, packaging, and postage mainly, because that can cost a fair bit of money, since most of the time the giveaways that I do are international, because most of my followers are in the US or the UK. If someone wins in Australia, then bonus for me, the postage isn't that expensive, but international postage is a fortune. So thanks, Barbara, that really helps out when those times for the giveaways come along. So I appreciate that very much. And of course that helps a lot with supplies, because for my workshops and stuff, I buy all the supplies for my workshop students so that everybody's using the same thing, and then gradually over time the workshops sort of help pay that back. But yeah, I want you guys to know where it's going. Oh, and with the Colored Pencil Magazine challenge every month, I will be doing, because I am doing this in the first week of every month, so I've decided that I'll do it the first Wednesday of every month. So the first Wednesday of every month for those in the US and the UK, which is Thursday for those in Australia. And you'll be able to see that in the magazine as well. So Sally from Colored Pencil Magazine asked me if I'm going to do this every month, and I said yes I am. So she put that in the magazine too, which I think is pretty cool. So you guys can hang out with me. Hey Esme! Yeah, Diane, that's what I didn't know they were called tennis shoes either. I also thought they were just sneakers. But I guess they have two names depending on where you live. Makes sense. Okay, so yeah, these laces are looking a bit messy, so what I'm going to do is I want to sort of see them a bit better. So I'm going to use my Warm Grey 5, number 274. And just where I can see the shadows of the laces and sort of just the direction of where they're going, I'm going to put them in now so that I can get a better perspective, because the laces can start becoming a little bit confusing if you don't watch them. I think you know what I mean. This is on the inside of the shoe. So like this lace over here is a little darker. So what you see me do now is just, find those darker areas where the laces are overlapping, and so you can see which laces are in the back and which laces are in the front. I see, Esme, you got some pan pastels. Whoops. Dropping pencils. Esme got some pan pastels. And I love what you did with the background of the pan pastels. They are such an amazing piece of, I don't know, just an amazing art supply. Oh, they were a gift. Wonderful. Yeah. If you have artist friends in the family and you want to know what to get them, like art store gift vouchers are just the best thing you can get them. If they have any excuse to buy more art supplies, then they're happy. You'll find, I don't know, if I'd say a lot of you would be the same as me in the sense that you don't even bother going shopping for clothes or shoes or things like that. Some of you would, but like I would rather buy more art supplies than anything else. There's no end to the limit of art supplies that you can have. Slowly looking a bit better. These laces. Oh, cool! Yeah, that was so nice of Marie to send them to you guys. I would send them to you, Esme. Hey, Georgette, welcome. Majid says cat food and art supplies. Yep. Hey Mia. Mia or Maya? Welcome. I love seeing new faces on here. Ah, bonus. Yeah, and if there's one thing that us artists are hunting for online, it's discount deals. It's like where can we get cheaper ones? Well, not cheaper pencil brands, but a specific brand, but discounted. Cause far out, it's easy for you to reach $1,000, isn't it? Like, how hard is it to get one or two sets of something without reaching like $500-600? And one decent set, a full set of pencils will cost you about $400. So I am recording. Thank you. I have another minute and a half before I have to press record again. Thank you very much, Esme. board. Mia's like, I can't believe color pencils can look like a painting. I've been doing it wrong. Alright, color pencils are epic things. They're amazing. Okay, this actually curves here. Excuse me. Yep. So Esme says the pastel mat ate through her eyeshadow applicator. Yeah, so the standard papers do, you have to get quite a few extra sponges when you're using standard paper with your pen pastels. Because you're writing it on sandpaper, technically. So of course it's going to eat through it. But like, it's worth it. The way it applies on standard paper compared to like regular watercolor paper, you'd be like, yep, I'd just invest in buying all the extra sponges. And for those that were part of the Pan Pastel portrait and giveaway, I've posted all of that stuff out now. So the print for the portrait and all the 7 giveaways that I did, they all, excuse me, they're all on their way. So I'd love to know when you guys receive your stuff. Please let me know. Like, I send the giveaways and I hardly ever hear back from anybody, but I'd like to just know that you got it. And yeah, little bits of information like that can make artists very happy. It says my nails are really long and kept hitting the pastel. I know what you mean. And then you feel like you sanding your nails down. Mine too. I need to actually cut mine because they are also getting in the way. I'm starting to scratch myself. We're gonna take my makeup off or something, and then I'm like, ah! But your nails and your hands are beautiful. I saw your videos, and I'm like, oh, so pretty. Yeah, that's right, Julie. Instant nail file as you draw. You guys are so sweet to one another. I love you guys. Anyone that's new to this, like, seriously, it's so much fun if you guys can tune in. Everybody here is so welcoming and so friendly, and that's why I look forward to every live stream, because being able to hang out with you guys is pretty amazing. And I swear that I have a couple of students that are just students so that they can hang out, not so that they can draw. It sounds profound, but that's how nice it is, being a part of the chat live and that, because a lot of us, we're all in very different locations, so it's not that easy to get out sometimes, or we have a couple of students that can't leave the house. They have some sort of disability, or they struggle or something like that. So we all just hang out together online like this while we, you know, do something that we all like together, and just chill and chat, and it's so much fun. It's really, really nice. So the beauty of technology nowadays, and I love that we can just use it in this way. Because I live stream probably 2, 3, sometimes 4 or 5 times in 1 week. We'll do that many classes for my students, whereas, you know, live streams on my YouTube channel probably do 2, 3 public lives a month. But the rest of the time we always live streaming. I'm always live streaming, so it's a really fun hangout. And if you have any questions about that, feel free to ask that. Or if you have any questions for the students that I currently have, then feel free to ask them in the chat, and then you can get a better perspective of what it's all about. Something that we don't see too often on a lot of artist channels, which I would wish that more artists would do this. But yeah. Hey Smale from Canada, I love your work and thank you for inspiring us. Thank you so much, that's very kind of you. Hey Chris Crafts, your pan pastels are on their way. So we were just saying that a couple of minutes ago, that all of that stuff's been posted. But you haven't missed too much. I'm just sort of working on this shoe a little bit more now. Although I'm talking more than I'm working, so I need to get into it. So I'm just trying to sort of create those almost like creases in the material of the shoe, little like slight folds. Once we add the stitching, it'll look much better. If you have any questions for me, if you can please put them in capital letters. It just makes it easier for me to see it quickly, because I'm not going through everything that you guys are saying in the chat. Because I'd love to, but if I do that, I won't get any drawing done. Barbara says, you move your clocks forward an hour tonight. Thank you for letting me know. So I better check that. Esme says you lose an hour. So if you lose an hour, so it's going to be earlier for you. So if we're streaming at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and which is currently my 11 a.m., then your 7 p.m. will be my 12 p.m. or my 11 a.m. will be your 6 p.m. So you guys are going to be an hour earlier. So I need to make sure I get the stream times right then. I wonder when our, does anyone know with Australia when our daylight savings changes as well? Because it's getting darker sooner now. Valerie doesn't change. Diane says that she thinks our daylight savings changes the first Saturday or Sunday in April. Okay. Okay, I'll have to look. Maya is asking, sorry, I'm calling you Maya and Mia. I don't know which is right, but you'll know I'm talking to you. How do you sharpen the pencils without breaking them? Maybe I'm twisting too hard. Oh, so I have an electric sharpener which sharpens my points to a very sharp point. This sharpener is a school smart sharpener. So it looks like this. Hopefully I don't mess everywhere. So this is it. It's very big, bulky. And this one I have no problem. Oh, I just drew a nice line on there. This one I have no problems with sharpening my Prismacolor pencils, so they don't break, and they're a really nice sharp point. Whereas like the watercolor pencils that we used yesterday, they're too thick to fit in that sharpness, so I have to manually sharpen them. And literally I just use one of these sharpeners, the Stettler sharpeners. I actually buy a whole bunch of these, and the minute they start dulling down, I just use a new one, and they work fine. Not so much for Prismacolor pencils. I think the problem with manually sharpening with those sharpeners is that you're using a lot of force with your hands, and I agree with you. I think the force of your hand is what promotes the breakage of the pencils. But there are, apparently there's quite a few hand crank sharpeners that are very good. I just don't have one. So that's something that you'll probably have to look at or get advice from a few other people on here about sharpeners, or sharpeners will be a good topic to talk about in our art chat forum, guys. And yeah, and you guys can give advice on the sharpeners you think are good, the manual crank ones, the electric ones, and like the little handheld ones. We'll see what everyone thinks about them. Okay, thanks Diane. So 1st of April, I'll remember that. Well, I'm sure we'll be reminded about daylight savings anyways. Oh cool, Rooksy uses the same sharpener and he loves it as well. So does Luella. Cool. Valerie uses the Super Point, Derwent Super Point. Yeah, I've heard a lot about the Derwent hand crank one being really good. But yeah, I just use these, the ones that I have. I'm not going to buy a whole bunch of sharpeners just to see which are best. I like my School Smart, and then if I get the bigger pencils like the Caran d'Ache Luminance pencils or the watercolor pencils, the Faber-Castell Albrecht watercolor pencils, I just have to manually sharpen them. And they're strong pencils with a strong core, so even manually sharpening them doesn't seem to cause any breakage or anything with them, so that's why I'm not fussed about trying to get a very good hand crank sharpener. Although it would be nice if the School Smart sharpener had maybe another hole for a bigger barrel pencil, but it does not. Can't have everything. Okay, I'm really liking the way the laces are starting to turn out now. They're starting to look quite good. Maybe I should zoom in a bit more. A bit better. That's a bit better. Okay, now I'm gonna start working on the inside of this shoe here. Actually, I wouldn't mind making this shadow even darker in here. So I'm going to use the Payne's Grey number 181. Just lightly with like circular motions. The shadow, I want to make it darker. Same here. And here. I'll be back in 2 minutes. I'll be right back. You guys can keep talking about sharpeners if you want. My mouse. Okay, so I'm working on the inside of the shoe. Cord. Hey Michelle. Michelle saying hi. May have missed it, but did you post the finished drawing of the Feb challenge of the box of chocolates? Yes, so there's 3 parts. Did I do it in 3 parts? I think there's 3 or 4 parts to that video. And so if you watch the 4th part, you should be able to see the finishing type. Wait, did I do the very end? I can't remember. Yeah, you just have to have a look. I think I did most of it live. Maybe the very end I may not have done live. I'm not sure. That one was driving me crazy. I really struggled with that one. Maya's asking, will the Gamsol make the pencils bleed? Should I gesso my sketchbook pages before coloring? No, 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 no. The Gamsol won't make it bleed. Not at all. Give it a go and you'll see. You don't have to gesso nothing. The paper you use is important though, so try not to just use like printing paper or normal cartridge paper. Try and use proper drawing paper. So I like using watercolor paper even though I'm not using watercolors. I like using the watercolor pencils with my colored pencils. So as long as you use a smooth watercolor hot press paper and it's between 200 and 300 GSM, then you should be good to go. And it won't bleed. You'll see. Amal would like the brand of my school smart sharpener in the description. Okay, sure. Okay, Maureen says I didn't do the final part of the chocolate on YouTube. Yeah, I think, to be honest, I'll be very brutally honest right now. I totally got the shits with that drawing, and when I just wanted to finish it. I think I just wanted to get it done, get it over with, and put it in my past, put it in history. So I think I ended it off, and it's not one that I really am proud of. Like, I really struggled with that one. I'll actually show it to you now. Let me go grab it. So, and I think we all have those moments where we just, whoops, we just don't do something as well as what we'd like. So here is my, oh my gosh, just position yourself there. So I pressed way too hard in the end with the black, so look how shiny that is. Can you see that? It's super, super shiny. So I couldn't, because I was getting annoyed because every time I'd apply solvent to it, it would make it look so matte that it looked like a charcoal grey. It didn't look black the way I wanted. So in the end, I had to put a layer down without blending it with the solvent so it would not look matte. And but then it looked shiny like that. And then I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to do this. Let me zoom out so I can show you a bigger picture of it. So, yeah. That's it there. Oh my gosh. There we go. Yeah, so the cellophane turned out pretty nice. The box itself I quite liked. The chocolates are okay, but the tray and the like dark values between the chocolates, I was like, just like, nah. I just wasn't getting it right at all. So I think I got, at the end of it, I got to a point where I was like, I'm not doing this live. I want to burn this thing. That's how much trouble it's giving me. But I finished it and it's done. So I'm just going to leave it at that. And it's good for us to have these moments where we just don't get things right, because it's going to happen from time to time, and you have to get yourself through those moments. And the fact, I'm happy that I can call it finished and that I did finish it. I think I would have been more disappointed in myself if I didn't finish it. So it's just one of those things that I had a bit of trouble with. And I sort of wish that I didn't use sanded paper with it. I wish I used this method with it instead, and then I think I would have gotten a better result. Because I have noticed that when you use sanded paper and you try and get a black with your colored pencils and your solvent, you can't do it on sanded paper, because the minute you apply solvent, it makes it look matte. Whereas if you use watercolor paper and you apply solvent on something that's black, it doesn't look matte. Does that make sense? So it's just something you have to play with, I guess. Luella's saying, your feelings about the chocolates makes me laugh. I don't feel bad about how I felt now. I know, we all have those moments. Even I, to this day, I have them more than you know. Although a lot of you will know now when I have it, because a lot of the times I do things live and I make mistakes live, and then we fix it and we work through it, and it's good. It's nice for you guys to see the real things that we go through, and we all experience the same things. If I had to edit every video, you wouldn't see those things. With the live streams, you see those things. Then I think they're important, because you learn from it, and you also feel more confident and comfortable knowing that you're not the only one that has to put up with stuff like that. Valerie, yes, the fixative kills the shine. But there's a way to save the shine or create the shine, and that's at the very end. You spray it with a gloss varnish. Then that shine will come back. If I had to spray that with a gloss varnish, I think it would actually look pretty epic. I may have to do that. Oh, good work, Tracy. Tracy says I did exactly the same, but I submitted it anyways. Yeah, good. It's good. You have to do that. Just do it. Maya's asking, is there a video on your channel I should start with for an absolute beginner? Yes, the layering one. If Maureen is still on here, maybe, yeah, Maureen, would you be able to give me the link? But if you look on my channel, it's one of the most viewed videos I have on my channel, is layering with colored pencils and blending. So for complete beginner, I'd say start there. Okay, no more talk, no more talk. I mean, yes, I can talk, but I won't be. I need to work. Are you guys like that too? I can't talk and draw at the same time. I can, but then I like lift my pencil when I talk, and then I draw when I don't talk. It's weird. Okay, I'm using Bister number 179. Ivory. I'm just going to fill in the rest of it. Oops, I had another color on there. dark sepia. Sepia? 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 I've already forgotten how to say it. 175. Someone told me how to pronounce it. Was it Maureen? Or Valerie? I think one of you told me how you actually pronounce the word. Sepia. Is it? Yes, Maureen, the layering video with the blue rose. Michelle saying, thank you for answering. Although you aren't happy with it, I learned how to use the touch-up texture and titanium light from watching you do it. Fantastic! I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, it wasn't a fail. Like I don't like it. I know I could do it better, but I had a couple of struggles, and it took a lot longer than what it needed to. So, but it's still finished and it still looks good apart from the shine from the black. So I'll leave it there. And I appreciate that you said that, because at least I know that you're still getting something out of it. Thanks, Esme. On top of it. Use some of the dark sepia just to create some of these spots over here. Okay, let's blend that in and then we'll keep going. So I have my zested pencil blend in a little jar like this. And then I have a brush, number 2 round tack-on brush. So what I do is I dip it in the solvent and then I dab it on a paper towel and then I apply it. So you don't want to have too much on there. So dab it, dip, dab, and then put it on your paper. And you'll be able to see that it doesn't bleed. It literally just blends in whatever area you are applying it to. It doesn't move it around or anything. Oh, thank you, Mia, and welcome. Iggy says, we speak Chaldean. Okay, Rook says CPR. Sepia. Sepia. Is that right? Sepia. Okay, I'm getting to be much happier with that shadow now. Barbara, is it Freya? Freya. Just Freya. Well, my last name is pronounced very differently. It's very guttural because my last name's Afrikaans. So you guys will pronounce it Visagie or Visagie, but it's Visagie. Visagie. It's the English language can really complicate things, isn't it? So if you don't know the origin of the surname, then you don't know the accent of the name, which will make you pronounce it differently. But I don't think anyone really cares, or I don't. I don't care too much if people get my name wrong because it doesn't really matter. Yeah, Esme says you have to make the sound like you're coughing up a lung. Free J's, like in free jar? Frisia? Frisia? That sounds nice. Frisia. Frisia. Yay, I got your name right. So Barbara, Frisia. 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 Oh, Valerie says everyone says canal, and that's what I say. But for us it's canal. Canal? Like a water canal? Canal? Julie says, oh my, the blending with the solvent is like magic. I had no idea. I love what we learn. Yes, solvent is the key element in colored pencils, in my opinion. Hey Jamie! Yes, the fox is going ahead tomorrow. And Jamie, I sent you your print yesterday, so Well, I ordered your print to be sent yesterday, so hopefully you'll get it soon. Okay, I'm gonna smooth this out a little and actually use my wax-based pencils for this one. So the Prismacolor. So I'm going to use 10% French Grey, PC106A. And the French Greys in this set seem to be warm greys. So French Greys are warm greys. And then the cool greys are cool greys. In the Prismacolor set. Sort of those highlighted areas. Maybe the camera check, thank you. Cool, Valerie. How long did that take? Know each other for like more than a year, and then I only get your surname right now. Free jar. Free jar. I'm sure you guys will forgive me if I get it wrong again. Okay, so the 30% French Grey, PC1070. No, I need to go darker. Let's use 50%. So 50% French Grey, PC1072. There we go. Sort of. Kind of. What have I done here? This just doesn't quite look right. Something here looks very wrong. Okay, I'm going to blend that in with solvent. Hey, Michelle, I actually prefer to have a reference photo on a tablet because then I can zoom in and zoom out. The only reason I print them out is for the sake of the live demonstrations, so that I can quickly show you guys on screen if I'm working on a particular area, or if I notice something that may not be as easily noticed or something like that, then I use the print out version of it, only for the tutorials. But if I were to search out on my own and draw, then I would just use the reference on my iPad. Okay, using the ivory number 103. And then I'm going to use the brown ochre number 182. I'm going to blend that in. So that's just giving those sort of worn areas inside the shoe. Okay, and I only use a white, so I'm just going to sharpen this. Jamie's asking how do getting prints work. Well, with me, so I have, there's a place here in New South Wales called Code Ice Prints. So I would send them the original and they would scan it, and then they scan it so that the print is pretty much exactly the same. As they do a color matching, so the print looks exactly the same as the original. Although in this instance I didn't do this, I just took a high definition raw photograph with the proper lighting and stuff and just did some adjustments in Photoshop. And so the file size is like 180 megs, so it's a very big file size, so you can zoom in so far and it doesn't get pixelated, so I could make it a really big copy. But anyway, so that's what they do. They'll take the original if I send it to them, or if I create my own print, then I just upload it to my account so they keep track of everything. And if I need it to go somewhere, I just give them the address and they send it straight to that person, and then I can add a note or something to it as well. So that way I don't have to wait for it to come to me, and then you have to wait for me to ship it to you. So you just get it straight from them as soon as they're ready. And their quality prints are insane. It's a bit more expensive, but if you include the shipping cost, if I had to ship it myself, it would probably end up being more expensive. So it's just worth paying the extra for them to do it. Oh no, this goes like this. Now let's see. So it's gonna make such a difference when we finally do the stitching. Which I'm gonna say we are getting close to that point. Okay, so I'm gonna use the white here to fix some of these laces. Let's see now. There we go. Okay, I'm going to use the Payne's Grey, number 181, just over here. And just underneath this lace to make it look like it's... No, that made a difference already. Much better. There, and then just above here. This lace here does a sort of curve. We've got little sort of stitch lines just on the edge here. Cool, starting to look right. And here, some stitch lines. Okay, and then this section in here. Will enhance when we decide what we're using titanium white or Thank you, Esme. Okay. Now I feel like I just want to go over all the dark areas with the Payne's Grey number 181, especially on this shoe here. So I want to just have it pick up a little bit more, and then so get the darkest values in, and then we can start highlighting. much better, isn't it? Sharpen this. Yes, Esme, we're going to have a play with the titanium white and with a paint marker and with a white backspace pencil to see what we want to use. Yeah, my drawing is really small, so I sort of know that it's going to be hard. It's easier to get. We'll see. We'll have a play. So I'm using a nice sharp Payne's Grey pencil, 181. Where did I want to use this? Oh, yeah. I just want that to stand out a little bit more in front of that shoe. I'm gonna use the 10% French Grey and see if I can, I'm gonna create a layer here on the concrete, because some parts I just want to lighten it up a little. And then I'm even going to darken some areas up a bit as well. So I'm going to use the Espresso PC1099. Create little sort of patchy bits. I'm going to blend this in smooth after this. especially here, there's quite a few of those pieces. Okay, I'm gonna blend that in. Where's my other blending brush? I want something that's a bit firmer. So I'm going to use this brush, a number 0 Westart acrylic gear brush. So this is a lot firmer. It's not so soft. Dip it in the solvent. And blend that in. You don't want to see the strokes. Pressed a bit too hard with a wax-based pencil. That's okay. I think. No, we want a warm grey. This one. So use some warm grey number 2, 271. I'd like to use a nice brown, almost as a glaze. What's that green? Use some of the olive green yellowish 173. I'll be honest, I sort of wish I didn't do this now. There's a glaze. Kind of wishing I just left the background the way it was. So when I say glaze, I just use the side of the pencil and add a light layer. Blend that in. Wicked has a really cool tip saying for thin white lines you can also try a white gel pen. Let it dry and scrape it with a needle and shape the lines. Doesn't damage the paper if you do it right. Easy. Yeah, well I was thinking of that with the Uniposco white paint marker. I was going to do the same thing. The acrylic paint marker and then just shape it with an etching needle. Hey Kid Slam! Great. Kid Slam and I were going to do a collab tomorrow, but both of us are pretty busy, so we postponed it to the first week of April, or at the beginning of the second week of April, I think. So, hey, thanks for saying hi. Okay, now I'm actually happy that I did this to the background. Now that I'm blending it in this way, I feel like I do like it more. Cool. Now I'm going to stop touching the background. Now let's see what we can do about the stitches. So I'm gonna give the Uniposco paint marker a go, and the etching needle to refine the stitches. Let's zoom in. Okay, let's see how we go. You know, a couple of you are talking about light fastness and like the gel paint markers and all that sort of stuff. For me, what I tend to do is you're going to create prints out of your stuff. If you can create a high quality print out of it, the print is never going to change. So that you'll have that scan forever. So whether you're using a light fast material or not, it's not going to matter. I quite often, you know, I actually do, well, I don't promote really selling my artwork. I promote teaching more than anything. But I keep my originals and give prints away, because prints, the light fastness doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's archival or not. And in my opinion, even if I buy an artwork that hasn't used archival things and it starts changing a little bit over time, I almost appreciate those changes in a sense, because we as humans, we change over time. So why can't we have an artwork that changes with us over time? I sort of like the idea a little bit. Not that I'm trying to make an excuse for using non-light fast materials sometimes, like for instance this paint marker that I'm going to use. It's all about the experience of creating art. Who cares about how the art may change over time? Well, I personally don't. But I agree that if you are going to give somebody an original artwork, you should probably let them know if you are going to be using materials that aren't archival or light fast. And then maybe with an original artwork, you can also give them an original print to help, you know, solve that issue if they've got any problems with non-archival materials. So, but you know what, I also think the only time that light fastness would become like a real issue for me is if I was one of those artists that could sell a painting for 10 grand. And let's be honest, that's not likely to happen. That's not the way reality works. So I'm not at all fussed about things like that. To me, it's just a process of creating art, enjoying the process, and teaching art, and hanging out with you guys. And that's all that matters to me. And then I know as well, I'm not the kind of person to buy original artworks, because to be honest, I won't pay that kind of money for original art. I would pay for prints so that I can still admire and enjoy the art, and whether it's an original to me or not doesn't matter. So that I'm more likely to buy a print of someone's work than original art, because majority of us do not have the money to spend 10 grand on an original artwork, compared to, you know, maybe $100 or $200 for a massive original print of the artwork. You know, so it's, I don't know, all of us will have a different perspective in that note. Like, everyone has a different opinion. If you are a collector of artworks, then that sort of thing will be very important to you. But how many of us can say that we have professional collectors buying our art? And if you know, if you're going to be doing a custom piece for a collector, then you will more likely make sure that you are using the right materials. So again, that is my opinion on that matter. Okay, so I'm using my paint marker, and I want to get that sort of highlighted fold in the front part of the shoe. And then we have a couple of stitches over here. There's a highlight on the, what do you call those? The little metal O-rings that the shoelaces go through. Got the stitching sort of coming down here. And down here. Okay, I don't think I'm going to even bother with the wax-based pencil or the titanium white, because that is working just fine for me. How cool does that look? And how quick was that? Create some highlights on the O-rings. Metal shoelace rings are called grommets. Thank you. Grommets. Barbara, if you're gonna create an artwork on a cover of a sketchbook, then I would say when you finish with the cover of the sketchbook, use a matte or a gloss varnish to seal it in completely. Because when you use a varnish like that, you can wipe it with a wet cloth and it's not going to change anything. If you're just going to leave it open and exposed, you can create dirty marks on there. Things like a white paint marker or gel paint marker, it will eventually wear off. So that's, if you're going to handle it that much, then you want to put a protective layer of something that literally seals whatever's in the bottom in completely. And then you can still use the white paint marker or whatever material you want. Cool, so let's do this side. of those pens you have to sort of push the nib down to get the paint to come out. The highlights and the grommets will just give it that extra touch. And I think I like them just the way they are. What I will do real quick is just define the bottom of the shoes here. And then use a bit of the warm grey number 3, 272. Add a bit more texture. Blend that in real quick. And I totally love it. I think that looks really cool. So zoom out a little. So that is the tennis shoes for the challenge. So let's sign that. So I'm just going to use my white paint marker again. Probably sign it over here. There we go. I had to be at an awkward angle with that one. And it looks like a sketch. It doesn't look like super realistic, but it doesn't matter because I actually really like the effect that it has. The shoes look pretty cool, and something looks weird. Wait. I think over here, just over here, this just needs to be a bit darker. So I'm just using a bit of the Nougat number 178. Cool. Cool, I like. I'm very happy with that. So that this time it only took us 2 streams, and I think they look pretty cool. I might come back tomorrow and have a better look. Oh, I probably won't. It is a good idea if you can leave it for a day and come back the next day to do like touch-ups and stuff. Because you tend to notice more things because you're not sort of slacking off in the sense that, you know, you want to get it done. So it's good to look at things with fresh eyes always, and you may notice a bit more. But I'm going to pack this away and set up for tomorrow's fox drawing, so I probably won't get back to it. Just checking if you guys had any other questions. Cool. Okay, no questions. Well, thank you guys for joining me. So this is part 2 of the this month's Color Pencil Magazine Challenge. The next one is going to be a very good one. I don't think that Color Pencil Magazine has put out what we're doing yet, but it's going to be one which I will probably be spending more time on than usual because it's very soft, delicate, furry feathers. That's all I'm going to say. So that's going to be the next one, and that's going to be on the first Wednesday of April. I think it's the 5th or something, or the 6th. So that is, yes, so the 4th for you guys in the US, or the 5th for those in Australia. So that'll be the next one that we're doing. The next Color Pencil Magazine one. Thanks, Wicked. Oh, has Color Pencil Magazine let everybody see what's coming out next, Esme? You call it. They must have put it out already. Okay, so tomorrow I'll show you what's coming up. The next 3 drawings that's coming up. So tomorrow we are doing this fox. So it's really nice, soft, delicate fur. So we're going to be doing this fox using the Faber-Castell Polychromos pencils, the same paper, the Fabriano Artistico hot press watercolor paper, 200 GSM, so the same paper we use for this one. And then we're going to use an etching needle, and I'll show you guys how to get the nice soft fur and the highlighted pieces of fur to look that delicate and soft as well. So that'll probably be 2, 3, maybe even 4 parts. And that's for the students that I have subscribed to me. The one that's coming up after that is we're going to do this cute little African girl. So that's going to be the next one, which is going to be streamed earlier than normal so that those in the UK can partake in this one. And then for those on my YouTube channel, so public, the next pan pastel one that we're going to do is this rose, which this reference was photo was taken by a friend of mine, Craig Zilko, and he's allowing us to use this photo as long as you credit him for taking the photo if you're going to use it. And this one we're going to do like massive. We're going to do it as big as what we did the other pan pastel portrait one. So I'm going to show you guys how to get the water droplets and everything. I've used this rose before in a Valentine's drawing that I did last year, but this time we're literally just going to, the soft background in pan pastels, the whole rose will be in pan pastels, and then the details of the water droplets and that will be in colored pencils. So that's going to happen on the 30th of March. I'm going to do that with the next pan pastel kits, and Pan Pastels is sending me 2 kits to give away. And they so that's going to happen on the 30th of April, and that one will be available to everybody that's on my YouTube channel, or subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you guys want to know exactly when any live stream is going to happen, I usually send an email out a half an hour before the time, before the live stream starts. So if you want to know about those, then just subscribe to my mailing list on my website, and then you'll get all the information of whenever I make a public stream available, or when we're about to go live publicly. Then you guys can click on the link from there and tune in that way if you don't want to miss out on anything. So yes, that's what's coming up for the rest of this month. And then those of you that are students, you guys can start submitting your March Color Pencil Magazine Challenge. So if you go on the Facebook student portal, or if you email it to me, then I can start putting it onto the website, and you guys can start commenting on that and get feedback there already for it if you guys want to enter. What other announcements do I have? Oh yes, and then I'm doing the live stream, watercolor fantasy art live stream with Amy Howard was changed to the 28th of March, so that's coming up in 2 weeks. And oh, and then the Smart Art Box video, which I'll be doing live and giving away, is coming up next Monday or next Sunday for those of you in the US or the UK. Okay, so that's a busy month ahead, very, very busy, but that's what's coming up this month. Okay. Okay guys, thanks for tuning in, and I will see some of you guys tomorrow. If not, I'll see the rest of you guys for the next live stream, which will be, I think, the Smart Art Box one, which will be on Monday or Sunday next week. Thanks guys, see you soon, bye.